Hi everyone, this is Jerry Chen, a chartered professional accountant located in Ontario, Canada. We are expecting an election this fall, and the Conservative Party, the Federal Conservative Party, just released their election platform yesterday. And it is very interesting, especially for a small business owner and real estate investor like me. Today, we're going to talk about 5 aspects of this platform that affect real estate investors. Make sure you share this video with fellow real estate investors. If you want to stay on top of the latest tax tips, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Now let's get started. First thing first is the capital gain deferral that would affect real estate investor. One of the mandates for the Conservative Party is to increase the housing supply by implementing a plan to build 1 million homes in the next 3 years. And one way to do it is to allow developers or real estate investors to increase housing supply by allowing them to defer capital gain tax when selling a rental property and reinvesting it in rental housing, something that is currently not allowed in Canada. And this is very similar to what is available in the US, the US 1031 1031 exchange that allows US property investment owner to defer capital gain tax by reinvesting the proceeds to the next purchase. So it seems like the Conservative Party is proposing this to help boost the rental housing supply in the private sector. Number 2 is to restrict the foreign investor ability to purchase properties in Canada. I can't even tell you how many times I've personally seen ad targeting foreign investors on foreign website in Asian websites, targeting foreign investors buying investment properties in Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, in all these big cities in Canada. And I'm not the only one that noticed it. The Conservative Party also noticed that. One of the things that they intend to do in this election platform is to ban foreign investors that are not living in or planning to move to Canada from buying homes here for a 2-year period. So no foreign investors are allowed to buy properties in Canada unless they're moving over or planning to living in those properties for a period of 2 years in an effort to help cool down the Canadian housing market and provide more affordable housings to Canadians. The number 3 things that would affect real estate investors in the Conservative Party's election platform is that they are proposing to expand the mortgage eligibility and accessibility for average Canadian. So there are 4 things that they are proposing to do. The first thing is that they are trying to encourage new market in 7 to 10-year mortgages. So typical mortgage term between 1-year term to 5-year term. And what they're proposing to do is essentially allowing a 7 to 10-year mortgage term in order to stabilize the first-time home buyer, stabilize the market for the first-time home buyer, so they do not need to requalify for their mortgage within 5 years or 2 years' time. Now, the second thing to encourage and expand the mortgage eligibility that they're proposing to do is to remove the requirement to conduct a stress test when you're switching from one mortgage company, one bank, to the second one. Typically speaking, when your mortgage term is up, like I mentioned earlier, between 1 year to 5 years, whatever you chose to sign up. Once you decide to switch bank from Bank A to Bank B, you have to requalify for the same mortgage again. And what the Conservative Party is proposing to do is to remove that requirement to conduct another stress test and requalify the Canadian to get the mortgage from a different bank. Now, the third thing is to increase the limit on mortgage eligibility for mortgage insurance. Now, currently, for real estate, for average Canadians who want to buy properties with as little as 5% down, between 5% to 20% down payment, you're required to purchase mortgage insurance. And this mortgage insurance is only available for properties that are under $1 million. The Conservative Party platform is proposing is that they would increase the limit on eligibility for mortgage insurance, which what it means is that for markets such as Toronto and Vancouver, for people who are starting out, if they have money for 15% down payment, they still would not be able to qualify to purchase the property in Toronto or Vancouver because the housing prices are so high in these neighborhoods and in these cities. And they would not have access to mortgage insurance as well. So what they're proposing is to increase the limit on the house price to allow Canadians to qualify to purchase these houses with the help of mortgage insurance so that they get to home ownership quicker. The fourth thing that they are proposing to do to expand the mortgage eligibility is that they would fix the mortgage stress test to stop discriminating against small business owner and contractors and other non-permanent employees including casual workers. I'm a small business owner. I am a real estate investor as well. For me to qualify for financing, to get financing to purchase my property, it is extremely hard. We need to provide 2 years of consistent statements to prove our income. And there are so many different hoops that we have to jump through. So what the Conservative Party is proposing is that they would loosen up the requirement to provide all the necessary document to qualify for the mortgage stress test to allow us to qualify for small business owner and self-employed people to allow us to qualify for mortgages to buy their home a lot easier. Okay, the fourth item that could potentially affect average Canadian real estate investor is the primary residence capital gain exemption. Currently in Canada, when you purchase a home that you live in and you later on decide to sell it, there is no capital gain on the sale of your primary residence. The rumors on the street is that the current federal government is thinking of imposing this capital gain on the sale of primary residence in an attempt to boost tax revenue for government. So what the Canadian Conservative parties did was that they, in the election platform, they came out and said, we are never going to tax Canadians' capital gain on the sale of their principal residence, and something that the Liberal Party are threatening to do. So that's what they're proposing. This is huge because we've been always watching the budget for the last few years and always speculating that the government is going to announce that they would tax the sale of our primary residence. So it is, again, music to our ears that the Conservative parties are not going to do that. Okay, number 5, capital gain inclusion rate. Now, this capital gain inclusion rate is not part of the platform for the Conservative Party, but it is part of the platform on other political parties' election platform. Now, the reason why I need to mention that is because similar to primary residence capital gain tax, capital gain inclusion on sale of properties typically are taxed at 50%. So if you buy a property for $500,000, later on sell it for $100,000 after renting out for a number of years, that $100,000 currently is only 50% taxable. So only $50,000 out of the $100,000 that you make would be taxable. So only 50% is taxable. So there has been speculation that the existing government is going to come out to increase the capital gain inclusion rate. So instead of being 50% taxable on the profit that you make from sale of a rental property, it could go up to 75%. So in history, in the Canadian tax history, there is a period of time that 75% of the capital gain is taxed. So there has always been this speculation that the capital gain inclusion rate could go up. It's not specifically mentioned in this Conservative Party election platform, but it is mentioned in NDP's election platform, and it is NDP's belief that they should increase the NDP's platform to increase the inclusion rate, capital gain inclusion rate on the sale of properties. So it kind of sucks that way. At least the Conservative Party is not doing it, and the Conservative Party is proposing to defer the capital gain out until you eventually sell your final rental property. All these policies sound great to all real estate investors and small business owners. Implementing government policy is about compromise and sacrifice, and implementing these policies will definitely help boost the supply, the rental supplies in particular, and they also come with a price tag. Unfortunately, no information is available at this point on how much these policies will cost. we will definitely keep an eye out for the price tags of these policies. If you are interested in staying on top of these updates, make sure that you hit subscribe button below to stay on top of the tax tips.